While I certainly worry about an erosion of truth, I don't think most people want to live in a world where you can only post things that tech companies judge to be 100% true.
That's Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg speaking to students at Georgetown University today about freedom of speech and its importance in a digital world. Tomorrow, he will join me right here on the Daily Briefing for an exclusive interview. Let's bring in the panel. Mike Allen is the co-founder of Axios. Allison Centofonte is Live Action's Director of Strategic Communication. And Rob Bluey is Executive Editor at the Daily Signal. Rob, let me start with you. Back in 2016, Facebook was under a lot of pressure, especially from conservative groups, saying, we feel that you are censoring our content, you are changing things and not telling us. Where do you think conservatives are with Facebook today?
Well, hearing Zuckerberg's speech today, it was really encouraging to hear him embrace freedom of expression, voice, giving others an opportunity to speak their mind on the platform. I think it's a direct result of conservatives speaking up. Let's face it, they are a big user base on Facebook, and Zuckerberg has listened to them and recognized some of the concerns they have.
Allison, though, do you think that that's true from your perspective?
He had a lot of great things to say, but the reality is that's not how his engineers are playing with the platform. Right now, we've got Facebook fact checkers who are hugely biased against things like the life issue that are sounding in and penalizing groups like Live Action, our founder Lila Rose, from reaching our followers. So what Mark said today was good in the sense that he talks about giving power to the powerless and a voice to the voiceless. But that's our issue, and we're asking him to free us up to educate on this. So it doesn't just affect pro-lifers, it affects anyone, particularly those who might have a controversial view. So while what he said today was good, what actually happens behind closed doors at Facebook, it doesn't line up.
And Mike, there are a lot of people on the left are mad at Facebook for lots of reasons. And one of them is that they had made this policy change, that they're not going to police politicians' speech. And Elizabeth Warren, the senator and, of course, the candidate for president, she went right at Facebook saying, how could you do this?
Yeah, no, you're right. Mark knows that he's in enemy territory when he's here. This is the first time he's spoken publicly in D.C. since that hearing. And you're right, both the left and the right have their issues with Facebook. In fact, one of his last lines today at Georgetown, where he's talking to about 700 students, he said everybody's angry at Facebook, and he actually got a laugh for that. But especially on the right, their problems are perception. There's a lot of concern that the algorithm is biasing them, and by coming out, that can really help, because on the left you have the concerns about the concentration of power, concentration of wealth.
And also, they still believe, on the left, Rob, many Democrats still think that Facebook cost them the election because of Russian interference.
Oh, absolutely. And that's, I think, why you see Democrats wanting to restrict and break up the company. I mean, Elizabeth Warren's made it quite clear.
But I don't understand, though, Mike, is why do they think breaking up the company would help prevent Russian interference? That's what I don't get it.
Well,
maybe they'll tell me.
And the other thing about that, one of the best points that tech companies make is that if they do break them up, it's not like some startup in Austin gets the benefit of that. It's more likely to be China, which is one of the reasons that was one of the cases for having the companies like activate the way that they are, innovate the way that they are. One point that the Axios story makes about the speech today, between the lines, when Mark is out talking about free speech or free expression, he's not having to talk about privacy, algorithmic bias, some of the issues that are much more difficult for them to explain and defend.
One of the things, too, Allison, is that we've been dealing with recently, and just the NBA's been dealing with it, is the whole issue of China. Facebook doesn't just have that Facebook app; they own a lot of other things. Right. Facebook is not allowed to be in China, and I wonder just your thoughts about just free speech in general. Like America's best export, I think, our values, with free speech being the first one.
Absolutely. And he talked a little bit about that today at Georgetown. We tried to negotiate with China. You've got people out there talking about human rights. We have our own human rights issues within our country. We talk about abortion at Live Action. That's something we're asking for freedom to educate on, free to express on. Absolutely. Facebook shouldn't be the arbiter of truth. They should allow both sides of arguments. That's better for us, right? We would all agree, both left and right, it's better discourse when we can debate these issues, hear from both sides. Now, of course, Facebook should block people that say, the election's on Christmas Day. That's different. But when we're debating hard, national, controversial issues, let it be had. That's good for us as a society.
Dana, part of his message was just, I get it. He talked about the biggest dangers to free expression today, and one of them is big tech, including Facebook.
What else? I'll give you a final word, Rob.
Yeah, what I would say is it's really important that Facebook is responsive to its users. I don't think that the government stepping in and making decisions is going to benefit anybody on the left or the right. So I think as long as they are responsive to conservatives and liberals, that's a win for its user base.
Mike Allen, Rob Bluey, and Allison Centofonte. I'm glad to meet you. I'm glad to see you two
Welcome
again.
back to the Swamp.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. It's kind of windy here today. All right. Thank you.